In five, four, three.
Good morning, Seattle. Good morning, America. Good morning, world. Time to climb out of bed. Run a comb through your teeth. Pour a piping hot cup of wake-up juice. And tuck into a heaping, hearty plate of content Obscura AM. Rise and shine!
Good morning, buddies. How's it going? It's Content Obscura AM because it's morning times.
It is morning times. I mean, I don't know when you're listening to this,
Right.
but
Brought to you by coffee.
yeah, it's morning for us.
It is morning.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm
You can't
Wylie.
tell from our voices. I'm Kenny.
I'm Ian, and it's the morning times.
It is. It's good morning time.
Yeah, good morning to
Yeah.
you two.
There's
How's
sun out.
everybody's doing
It's very
today?
gloomy. It's very gloomy outside
Is it?
in this March morning.
I've been in this studio all day.
Yeah. Hold up in the
Sunstang Studios. here.
Sunset Studio. This is Studio C.
Yeah.
This is where we shoot the TV show. This is not the motion picture stage. And then, of course, there's the recording studio, which is a separate part of the complex. So,
Now back we have the Sunstang petting zoo. Mostly those little tiny miniature goats that everyone's so crazy about.
you really get your goat.
I just in the Sunstang
Bah.
Beach at the Sunstang Ocean.
On Planet Sunstang.
Yes, and
So, Jolly eat some breakfast this morning?
I had coffee.
I did have breakfast.
Okay. So, when do you guys when do you eat breakfast and why? I mean, obviously, I don't know about why. 'Cause, like,
Why?
you put food in my body.
Well, maybe like why do
I
you
like-
eat it
I
at
like
that time?
pooping.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Why do you eat it then?
That's a smart why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the
That's always a
rationale
why.
for when you eat breakfast?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Anyone?
Mine has evolved over the years. When I was in the before days, long some time ago, yeah, it was like I didn't eat much except for out of like necessity. So it was just like whatever was easiest or closest or took the less work or was the least amount of inconvenient. And that was like also paired with like having to work and like or working early in the day, like when you don't have time and like you push your sleep to the very last minute. Like one of the things that definitely gets sacrificed is quality breakfast.
Yeah.
And so in those days it didn't really matter. Like it's like what I can say is I was never into cereal. Like I just I and unless like after I was like a teenager, like after that, like no cereal didn't really do it for me. But it's not about what, it's about when. So like I did go on a kick in like my late 20s, early 30s of like breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Eat it right away. Get out of bed, eat breakfast. First thing you do. And I did that for a while. And it actually like did actually do well for me. Like I did feel better and more energized throughout the day. But I stopped doing that because it is inconvenient. And there's something about like eating breakfast immediately when you get up that's just unappealing. Like my stomach's not ready for it. So my ritual these days is I get up and I drink probably like 2 cups of coffee. And
Your
then
stomach's ready for that.
well, it is.
Yeah.
Like I am I mean I'm it has to be because that's my
Because
brain
if I don't
needs
have
it.
it,
Yeah, my stomach better be.
yeah.
And
Get
so
ready.
and then after that, like what I would like to say is that after that, then I'm like, okay, I've had my coffee. Now it's time to get up and like make some breakfast. But that's not how it works. What happens is like I get hungry and I'm like, oh, I really should make breakfast. And then I don't. And then I push it until I'm so hungry that it's like, okay, I have to make breakfast. I have
Physical
to
pain
eat
for
something.
food.
Yeah. And that's currently my method, and it's not the best, maybe, but like.
So you really eat more of an angry lunch.
Yeah, I fail at that too because then I overeat because like I'm hungry. You know, I always like my eyes are bigger than my stomach, and I still haven't gotten over that. Like just from being a teenager, like I can't eat. I should eat like less than half of what I ate back then, and I always overeat. Like I always eat too much. Like I can't not do it. Like I've tried, and I'm aware of it. Like while I'm doing it,
Gotta put it in there though. No, I feel that.
I don't know. I wish I could stop.
I'll tell you. I think my theory about this is that
helping.
no matter what any of us say about breakfast timing, my theory is thank you. My theory is that it's all going to be relatable to someone out there. Someone's listening to this and going, "Yes, that's me too. Those are my stupid breakfast habits." Because I think it's for some reason eating when you wake up is a weird and personalized experience that we don't all do the same. When I wake up, I used to be similar to you, where it would be coffee and at the time cigarettes, and then I would do that until my body said, "Oh, you're stupid," and now you're in pain and you feel sick, and then I would shove something in there as quickly as I could that I would buy at a grocery store deli or something.
$5 worth of regret.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it would do the trick. It would sink into my stomach and soak up some of the coffee and make it so I could keep smoking cigarettes and drinking things. And which was, the goal at the time. Yeah, the goal at the time was to drink things and smoke cigarettes.
I miss smoking a lot.
I miss things about it.
Me too.
I really miss it.
Me too.
It's the best thing in the fucking world.
Oh, it's so good.
The best.
It was so
awesome, and I miss it so much.
Let's just take a moment to let us.
I really and truly loved cigarettes.
It was like my favorite thing. Like there was just nothing better.
Oh yeah.
I think it was my biggest talent. Like I've had people who are like vehemently against smoking look at me in the eyes and be like, "I have to admit, you really looked cool doing it."
Yeah, you do look cool smoking.
I looked super cool smoking. Hey, I looked thinner.
Demonetized.
I looked thinner.
Oh, whatever. Yeah. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that.
That 1,000 subscribers is coming.
Medford Carlton money.
9 out of 10 doctors recommend smoking Winston cigarettes,
which make you look cool. No, I mean obviously, like I think it should go. A, I don't think anyone like under 30 has heard this podcast. And B,
right.
Beyond that, I think that it should go unsaid. Like smoking is horrible. It's a dumb idea. It's bad for you. We all
stopped for a reason.
We all stopped, even though obviously it's our favorite thing.
Yeah,
like it's horrible.
I will miss it every day until I die.
Until I'm dead. Yeah.
It's and I'll probably that's never going away.
There's a moment. You know what? Here's how good smoking is. I kind of look forward to the moment I get a terminal diagnosis.
Oh yeah.
The moment someone says there's nothing you can do, you got 6 months to live. I'm like,
I'm buying a car.
First thing I do is light up
that is absolutely the one upside of finding out that you've got terminal cancer or something like that.
Like I don't have to smoking again.
You have 6 months to live. Oh, I got 6 months to smoke.
Cigarette.
I'm not going bungee jumping because I don't want to accidentally lose a day of smoking between now and the end.
I don't want to get my pack wet.
No shit. See the ocean? don't care. Buying
I'll be-
cigarettes instead.
I'll be sitting on the porch in a rocking chair, just chain smoking cigarettes.
And I might put the guitar down. I might pick the guitar up for a minute, put a cigarette down for that. But I probably just smoke.
put it in the string.
No, you got to put it in
Put it
between
in-
the strings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the first person you ever saw put the cigarette in the guitar?
I think Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
But I'm sure someone did it before him.
Oh, surely. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
think
Willie
that-
Nelson had to have done it.
I'm gonna put that out in the history of things white people stole.
Well,
But, like with the blues.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Every other cool thing that ever looked fucking cool.
I don't know. When
Yeah.
did the guitar get invented, and then when did cigarettes get invented?
They've
So, like,
been around for.
I'm
hundreds
guessing
of
the
years.
first
Was it
guy was
Tuesday?
what,
'Cause
Sir
Thursday.
Francis Bacon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody named Francisco or something.
Right. Right. It was Les Paul. Les Paul did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, breakfast.
You know who probably did it the coolest though?
Huh.
Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bet you Jerry Reed had one in there while smoking and
Oh,
had
yeah.
another one in his hand.
Forgot about it. Had to
Yeah.
put it back. Now he's got three
Yeah,
in there.
he had one in the headstock, one in his mouth,
One in
and
the
one
bridge.
behind his ear, ready to be lit.
Yeah.
Well, much like pickups.
God, I miss that.
You
too.
need a
I miss
bridge
having
cigarette, a neck
like
cigarette.
behind my ear when I'm. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't miss that. That's
I
not.
always like that.
I miss packing them.
I never did that,
miss
but I
packing
always.
them. I miss.
I smoked spirits for years, and they're
Yeah.
plenty packed as it is.
Let's look at the other side, though. I don't miss the mess. Mainly the mess. I don't miss cigarette
Oh, no,
ash
it's
getting all over
filthy.
the fucking car,
Yeah.
all over
Your car
know,
being a filthy mess, like
Yeah.
you're
or
just
just
like
smelling like an
whatever,
ashtray
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, smelling
Well,
like a
you
gross
two will
ashtray all the
recall-
time.
you two will recall that I rolled my own for like
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
20 years.
Yeah,
so I
last
didn't even buy
last
packs.
couple decades. Yeah.
But that made its own kind of mess.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Here's just tobacco.
Little bits of
Little
tobacco
tobacco
everywhere.
crumbs everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing to do about it. I was tidy as I could be,
Yeah.
and it was not.
I'll tell you, I got to a point
Tidy.
with smoking where I was lying and hiding it from my wife.
Oof.
Yeah, and that's like
Yeah.
because I had quit for years, and then I went to a friend, a good friend of mine had a sibling suddenly pass away, really horrible way. So all the high school friends came out for the funeral, and all ended up like across the street in a parking lot smoking, just like when we were in high school. And I went over there and fucking started smoking again immediately, and
Yeah.
I was a pack a day again a couple days later. Anyway, yeah,
hiding it.
I was hiding it because I was embarrassed
Like,
that I was
that's some
smoking.
Paul
I
Rudd
didn't wanna be a
shit.
smoker. Like, I don't know what does that have to do with Paul Rudd? Did Paul Rudd?
It
hide
just feels like that's what he would do in like
What?
one of those Seth Rogen movies or whatever. Like,
I mean, I'll take it if you want to compare me to Paul Rudd. I think he's liked generally.
Well, I like Paul Rudd, like, but that seems like that would be
Better than, like,
in a
that's some
Seth
Ted
Rogen movie.
Cruz
Like
shit.
that's like this is 40 or like
That's-
now
that's
I'm
a real
50,
Marco
it sucks.
Rubio
Like
move.
it's like yeah.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
Let's not go calling people fucking Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
Here, I'll take a Paul Rudd, but
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
No,
He
I
still,
don't-
hasn't,
yeah,
he
I was
still hasn't
hiding it.
grown into his suit yet, has he?
I eventually got
He'll be a
caught
real
and-
boy
and had to
someday.
admit it. It was horrible. Smoking's fucking terrible and awful and really expensive. I've saved thousands and thousands
And the
of
thing
dollars.
is, all
Oh,
of
yeah.
this is true. It is terrible and awful in the sense that it will shorten your lifespan one way or the other, and it costs a ridiculous amount.
Yep.
But it's also one of the most enjoyable things you'll ever fucking do.
Don't know, and I don't think it's just the addictiveness of it or whatever they're
No.
putting it to make it enjoyable. It's not just that. There really is something about the like fundamental.
Human beings have been
time
smoking
filler
tobacco
where
for
it's supposed-
thousands of years.
That's
Like,
great.
It's not for no reason.
Yeah, it's great. You know
Yeah.
what else
Doing
it
a lot of
is?
things for thousands
It's
of years.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
cool.
really give a shit about cool. at this
Like
point.
I know you don't, but it is.
But it is. Cool doesn't care about you either.
I reached a point where I realized that, like,
That's the thing about cool. It doesn't care if you like
it's
it.
like, but it's that thing like, I used to be cool. It'll happen to you. You know, cool is a pursuit of youth,
Amen.
I
or a
don't-
certain type of
so-
cool.
So
think-
where I was going with this, hold on,
I'm 40.
'cause I want
I'm
to get back
45
on
and I
track
still
for a
like to
second.
try and be cool. Like I don't know.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I don't think
You
it's.
do- you do.
You try
do
real
well.
hard.
Yeah, you do pretty well.
I think I do all
You
right.
do fine. You do better than me. I live in the suburbs now.
Oh, I'm jealous kind of though. I don't want to live in I would live in the suburbs. I really just want to live on like a farm. I want to live away from everything.
Yeah.
Now,
There's a sort of thing
that's
of,
what I
well,
want.
my mom does that. We have had long conversations about that lately, but I, let me get back on track for a second. So the reason I started talking about smoking is because that was a big part of what led to my breakfast habits for a long time. I think was heavily influenced by the fact that cigarettes are an appetite suppressant, and I started the day with those. Now I start the day with a cup of coffee, and then within that first hour or two, if I don't put something in my stomach, it starts to tell me that coffee is a bad decision. And then I usually end up eating a piece of toast, some kind of breakfast bar, something small, and that's what gets me to lunch. The only time I would do a big breakfast anymore, I think, would be, if it was 11 a.m. If it was, brunch, we were going out to a restaurant and I hadn't eaten anything in the morning. But if you're getting up, I have a kid. If you're up at 7 a.m, like, you're gonna eat something most of the time.
Yeah, well, because you're gonna have to be making the kid breakfast one way or the other,
kid,
so you might as well feed yourself.
That's
just,
and also you have to kind of
one thing. You should be efficient.
Habits, some good examples for stuff too.
That's
like if you just
the other
become a
thing.
person
You
that
can't
I eat at weird hours when I feel like it. And I don't care about my body, which is
you're trying
the
to get
truth.
Yeah, no, it's a whole different thing when you're trying to model.
Model behavior and shit.
Yeah, I don't have kids, so like sometimes my breakfast is still peanut M&Ms and beef jerky.
Just a bag of Skittles and a beer. Skittlebrow.
I wish I had that eyebrow filter pulled up when you said that, and I could have just rainbowed my eyebrows immediately when you said Skittlebrow. Bit
Fix
missed.
it in post.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
I used to not really eat breakfast at all most days, like weekdays. Some of it was, maximizing the sleep in time and that kind of thing. But I was diagnosed with ADHD a couple 3 years ago, and then I have to take I don't have to, I choose to take stimulants in the morning that help with that a lot, but you don't really want to do that on an empty stomach. You kind of can't, because it'll be a real bad scene. And then I had that issue where I got a blood clot in my leg a couple years ago, and
it's kind of scary.
Yeah, real scary.
Yeah,
so
terrifying.
Yeah, so I have to take blood thinners pretty much till I die. So it's just a permanent thing.
Hopefully for years and years and years and years and years.
Well, yeah. I mean, my health otherwise is excellent. I hope not. That'd be
You'll live
long
100 more years.
I'm shooting for 100. I'm shooting for 100 on the dot. I want to die on my 100th birthday.
I feel like 100's attainable these days.
I want to get there, and then I want to say something poetic.
We'll see how the next couple years go. Honestly,
we might. No one might want to be here.
It might be back down to 50.
My goal is less quantity than quality. What I don't want to do is have from 85 to 100 be body's still in good shape, the brain's gone. That's
that's gonna be me. I'm ready for it. I'm gonna be hanging on. My kids are gonna be like, Dad, just let us put you down. You're miserable. I'm gonna be like, no, never unplug. And I'll only come out of my coma to say, don't unplug me when I have to.
They're gonna have to take you out behind the bar and old yeller.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull my kids close and say, I don't believe in an afterlife. Please keep me here.
I was at Lollapalooza.
Never let me die.
Never let me die. If you let me die, you failed me as a child.
So anyway, breakfast.
Hey, Ian, are you still doing the slurm?
Oh yeah,
I'm not these days. So the slurm was
for
Soylent. It's one of those meal replacement kinds of things. I have a bunch of it, and I do it if I forget to pack lunch. I have it at work, and it's a very nice backup for that scenario.
Fill the body up with the things it needs and move on.
Yeah, and nothing it doesn't, and it works really well for that. But I kind of got off of it mostly because of the pandemic, and I was home all the time. So
because you could make food. Yeah. That's another thing with that. It's ever since COVID, I've been cooking a lot.
That's good. Because you used to really not cook. I remember you used to, you were capable of it. You would do it when you needed to, but you were not into cooking back in the day.
I was just not into food.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and then, a lot of that was like pre-transition hormonal stuff. Like,
Mm.
it's like it's hard to, that's its whole own subject. Like, it's
Whole other
like,
thing. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. And so like, but now it's like, I actually, because my hormones are correct, like I actually have like the ability to enjoy it, like where I didn't have that before. And so
Right.
now it's like, yeah, like the first time like I really truly tasted a strawberry, it was like mind-blowing. Like you're just like,
Right.
I mean, can't explain it to you, you wouldn't understand, but like it was like, holy shit, I've been missing out on a lot of things. Like, and
Yeah.
like, and so like, but that paired with the pandemic was like, well, yeah. So now I cook. Like, it's like my favorite thing to do. It's the
Mm.
only, if I could cook like just pretty much all day, every day, and that's all I did, like that would make me very happy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoy cooking a lot. It's therapeutic. It's calming and relaxing.
I think it's kind of one of those things that, though, it is, if you did your hobby as a job, you would lose a taste
Oh
for it.
yeah,
I
I
think.
wouldn't want to do
Yeah,
it
there's
for
a
any
difference between doing it all day at home for
professionally at
yourself and
all.
doing it
Yeah.
as a job.
Right.
Or for
I have-
yourself and for people you care about, like not because you some rich guy is paying you and like you have to like make sure that it's perfect every time, and like it's like there's
Right.
so many problematic things with that. Like it's like, and then then there's the whole restaurant thing. It's like I would never want to be a cook in a restaurant.
No, that's a hard job.
It's a real hard job.
Those people
And
work hard.
I mean, restaurant work was notoriously, I wa- I mean, underpaid, yes, but like also under like valued.
Mhm.
And like
Mhm.
it's only gotten incredibly worse since COVID. Like it's just like it just got exponentially worse since then.
Yeah.
Less pay and worse treatment. Like it's just like really, I'm glad I got out.
Yeah, I feel like I was just in the nick
Yeah.
of time myself. Too.
Yeah.
I got out of the service industry and into a work from home job that I love, and wow, what timing!
Yeah. And what luck. Like
And
I mean,
privilege.
you didn't, it wasn't
And
luck for
privilege.
you. Well, and I remember you made up your mind and you took a leap of faith with it too. Like you're like, I'm doing this. I'm taking it. I'm pulling the trigger. I'm quitting the job. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go do this. And like you did it, and you
And I had a good
manifested.
job. I had a job I liked. I had a good,
Yeah, you
good
did.
restaurant where I was managing the place.
But
and
you
I
did
loved
it.
the owner,
And you did it like
you
you
know.
manifested your destiny. And so it's like, I mean,
And
there's
you
always
can
luck.
too.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying there's always luck involved with that sort of thing, and privilege and blah blah blah, and a lot
Yeah.
of factors.
Yeah.
But like the reality of it is,
But also
like,
recognizing
you would-
opportunity when you see it.
yeah, like,
and-
well, I wouldn't even say like Kenny made the opportunity. Like Kenny went after it and did it.
There's
like,
a level of recognizing that what I made the opportunity by spending the prior 5 years of that, or 10 years of that, like networking and playing music and working on all sorts of things outside of my job,
right.
to gain well, because I wanted to, and because I made friends that I liked and stuff. So I don't want to make it sound like it was, networking was the goal. But as I made friends and played music and did other things outside of work that I liked, I started to recognize that I was spending a lot of time with people who I really admired. Ian, I admired, and my friends. I have a whole. I'm not going to name a bunch of people, but there's a whole bunch of people who I was working with and playing music with and playing basketball with and stuff like that, and just different facets of my life who were doing really interesting things with their careers. And they seemed to think I was a nice person and that I had capabilities and that I was smart. And I was starting to feel like was outgrowing a little bit of what I was doing with my time, like emotionally and intellectually. And I think what I did recognize was that I had a network of support of people that thought highly enough of me that I would be able to put it out there that I wanted an opportunity and that I was willing to work for it and interview for it, buy some people lunch, take some people out to meals and talk to them about what they do with their careers and see if I could figure out where to go next. And I felt like there were enough doors cracked open that I could probably find a way.
Yeah, wedge your shoe in there.
You had enough reputation for being a solid cat that like people were willing to
talk to me about it.
Go out on a limb a little bit for you.
Yeah, a little bit. And some people went further than others, and I really appreciate that. That being said, it was still a lot of luck. I was 6 months plus into that process when like a friend who I had talked to many times about their career and who had never offered me that opportunity suddenly was kind of like, hey, you know what? There actually might be an opportunity here, but I don't know if you'd want it. I'm not sure if it pays enough. And it ended up being like exactly what I was looking for. And I was really, 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 really fortunate. And it ended up being because of networking, because of people I know, people I played music with who I'd like to think knew that I was a stand-up person and had a reputation for being on time to things and accountable for stuff. And I don't know, like if there's anything it sounds a little pompous, but I felt really, really grateful for the fact that worked how I wanted it to.
I don't think that sounds pompous at all.
Well,
I think that
hold
sounds
on.
like the
I'm
opposite.
getting to the pompous part.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is that if there was anything I would tell other people,
Gotta lay down the safety net first.
a little
Haven't
bit of
gone full shit bag yet.
Oh, wait a second. I'm getting to the Tony Robbins of it. But like, I do sometimes think like I want to tell other people because I see other people in my life who I'm close with who work really hard and are stand-up people and are smart and stuff, and they just haven't really figured out how to get themselves into a career that they felt happy with and stuff, and they weren't living their dreams yet. And we're all getting a little older, and I know how that feels because I was there a few years ago. And I want to really tell people like, be a good person and all that stuff. But if you are a good person, if you have a network of people, if you know people that do things that you think are cool, talk to them, ask the questions, take people out to lunch, call up your friend who's at that job that you think is amazing and say, can I buy you lunch, and just talk to you about what your job is like and how you got it and what you guys do. Learn and keep asking questions. And it's shocking how when you start really asking those questions and putting yourself in a position to be in those conversations, how opportunities tend to find you.
Yeah.
My observation has been also that the higher up the socioeconomic food chain you go in terms of the job market, certainly skills, abilities, reputation, all of those things are requisites. Mm-hmm. But above and beyond that, like the more interesting a job is, the better it pays, the better the benefits, that kind of thing. My observation has been the more likely it is to have been obtained via knowing somebody.
Yes.
Having a connection that,
that might seem unfortunate, but the reality is it's not so much like a nepotism kind of thing as much as it is like
it's a reputation thing.
We want to work with people we can communicate with.
It is kind of the very definition of nepotism.
Well, no.
Well, no.
Definition of nepotism involves family, but
yeah.
Okay.
But the idea is that I'm getting at is that
did anyone ever get a good job because they were related to somebody? I'm trying in America.
Yes.
Like I don't know if that happened here. Just because this is a real good country that doesn't do that sort of thing.
If anyone doesn't know at home, every single president, with the exception of one, is a descendant of King George. One. Can you guess which one isn't?
George Washington.
Nope. Incorrect. Anyone else?
That can't be true.
It is true.
No.
Anyone else? They're all descendants of King George. Mind you, most people are related to everyone else at this point when you go that far back. So it's not like a shocking, astronomical abnormality like it sounds.
I have no idea.
One president isn't. Van Buren, Dutch.
Yeah.
But
that's as much just to do with the
both
weird
Barack
tight
Obama and Donald
interbreeding
Trump were
of
descendants of King George.
Families.
Yes. Sorry, Ian. What was that?
Oh, it's. I mean, that's just the weird interbreeding of WASP wealthy families for
Yeah. They're all. I mean, I watched a whole thing about it recently with a big tree where they showed who was a third cousin to who and stuff like that. They're all related.
I mean,
most of us, and you're related to most of them. It's
half of the world's population is a direct descendant of Genghis Khan too.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's a bit more believable, kind of. Like I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be
believe
surprised.
It or don't.
Yeah. I don't actually.
No.
I don't buy. I don't buy
believe
this.
thing.
I don't buy that president thing one at all.
That's also true.
Yeah, it is true.
Both are true.
Yeah. The funny thing about facts is you don't have to believe in them.
That's true.
Yeah, they don't require belief.
They do require some sort of truth beyond you all
don't
just
care
telling
about
me,
your
though.
feelings.
I just wanted to go back though and say this.
I saw a thing doesn't cut it for me.
The point that I was originally trying to get to.
It usually does when it's your thing.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you turned out to be progressive because you have the exact makeup to be one of those fucking obnoxious, horrible flat earthers.
Just a Marjorie Taylor Greene,
yeah. You could be just the worst if you were on the other side of the news. If you just had a different algorithm.
corporations are bad because they're too communist.
All I'm saying is this: knowing people, who helping you get a job isn't nepotism. What that's about is your ability to communicate, and people wanting
Right.
to work with people who are able to keep up those relationships and show the importance and interest they have in doing that.
Well, that's just life too. It's like that's just people
But that's
interacting
knowing
with
people.
people. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and I
You know what
everything's
else it
knowing
is?
people.
It's also white privilege.
Yeah, it's definitely white privilege. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
whole lot of
definitely
that.
is.
Yeah.
I think all three of us, as bright and capable of folks as we are, have had a lot more opportunities in a lot more areas in our lives just by dint of being this particular shade of pink.
Pinky. Yeah, that's 100% true. I can't even begin to list all the things that I've looked back on particularly and started to recognize as like, oh, that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't a white person. There's a ton of that in my life. Even just like the moments I've had in my life where I've been pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Huge.
And I had recently been doing something wildly illegal, and the cop walked up to the car and said, "Do you know you took that turn without your signal, or you were going 10 miles over the speed limit back there?" And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know." And they said, "All right, well, have a safe night out there and be careful."
They didn't shoot you.
They didn't shoot me in my face. They didn't arrest me for
I don't even
number
get
of
pulled
things
over.
they could have arrested me for. I mean, the thing is, yeah, I don't get pulled over very often, but I haven't been pulled over in I don't know how long. But when I was in my early 20s and, an idiot, I'm sure driving a, shittier car, I'm sure I got pulled over more often then. And when I did, I didn't ever get in trouble. I got speeding tickets a couple times. That was what happened. And to think about all the times that my life could have changed dramatically in some of those moments.
Oh yeah.
Had I been treated differently by the police. And I was scared shitless, I don't like being pulled over.
Yeah, cops suck.
Cops suck and they're scary. They might shoot you. You never know.
It cracks me up because, I'm a middle-aged white man with gray hair and a gray beard, over 6 feet tall, and I drive like a camouflage painted truck. And I think cops just think I'm on my way to the same fucking Klan meeting they're going to.
They just assume that you're off duty.
Yeah.
But I think since I was probably in my
this guy's all right. He's a real American.
That's right.
You could tell by the camera.
One of us.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's real gross, but it's real. I mean,
it's super real. Yeah.
I haven't been pulled over in 15 years or something, and the last time I was, like, the cop called me sir in a way that sounded like he meant it. It wasn't just...
I got a speeding ticket coming back from California about a year, not even a year ago, like last summer, and it was the first time I got pulled over in a long time. And I very much deserved it. I was going like 20 miles over the limit, like on the I-5, just like not paying attention, just But like the cop was, first of all, was half my age. Yeah. Second of all, was very nice and polite, like a California Highway Patrol in Northern California, and I don't know, if that.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Are you aware of how fast you're
going? I can only assume it's white privilege. Like it's just
for sure.
Yeah,
there would be a very different tone to that interaction.
And I did get a ticket, but
were you told to keep your hands on the steering wheel during that conversation?
No.
There you go.
But I did anyway. That's
Well, that's smart.
Yeah.
But
like, I mean, I was, I hyper aware of things, but also it's like, part of the white privilege is knowing that that really bad thing isn't necessarily going to happen. So or assuming that it's not.
Yeah, the odds are good.
And that allows you to behave accordingly and not super paranoid.
Right.
And which is picked up on by police for sure. And so being able to talk to them like a human being and be like, "Oh, sorry, officer. Yeah, I didn't know how fast I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, it won't happen again." It's like, okay, make sure, like that sort of thing, that interaction that's so benign that like someone that's like, like Fernando Castillo or someone who just like didn't do anything, just like like would have no idea like what I'm even talking about, like and I have no idea what it's like to be in that position, like it's like it's just completely different, and it's terrible. I hate it. Like it's like
I
I got
really enjoy the cognitive dissonance that I see. Like one of the things that I really get a kick out of with that goofy SUV I built is this thing it's covered in camo paint. It's jacked up. It's got big mutter tires on it. It's got a roof rack with like there's an axe and like a bumper jack, giant like off-road jack, and there's a tire on the roof rack. Like it's it's a bug out vehicle.
Yeah.
But the back window has like little stick figures dumping Nazi symbols in the trash and a Black Lives Matter sticker on it. And like seeing rednecks,
I don't understand
areas,
you.
They see the side of the vehicle and they see me and they're like, yeah. And then they fall back a little bit and then they see the back window and I can just see their faces sort of drop and it's like they fritz out. They're like, does not compute.
What is this?
You see, it's just fries a few.
Yeah,
Isn't there?
there's just sparks.
You go far enough left, you get your guns back.
Accurate. Oh, well, I built that thing during the worst days of the pandemic, along with some other interesting apparatuses.
I appreciate that over the like a lot of people. A lot of people reacted to the pandemic in ways that involved various levels of prepping. And I like that as a reaction to that anxiety.
Yeah,
it's I think with as long as there's a level of like, maybe I don't even need this.
Yeah,
maybe I will. A self-awareness of like I'm doing this half hobby, half because it makes me feel a little better.
No, it was that combined. So it was certainly knowing that this is just a sort of fun way to kill some time and burn off some anxiety because when you're stuck at home, it was a horrible time.
It still is a little horrible, but it's been horrible.
It's not, but we understand it a little better now. Like that first
just a lot of things have changed. But I mean, let's not diminish the fact that like 750,000 or more Americans are dead.
Yep.
So it's not like it was nothing. But for a lot of us who got through it, so there was always that. This is probably overkill and probably not necessary, but it's also a little bit like a SWOT analysis,
Yeah.
And you're kind of looking for your like high impact, low probability events. Yeah. So if it happens, it's going to be a big fucking deal, but it's not super likely to happen.
Right.
So it was one of those. It was sort of the statistical outlier, but like I'd like to be prepared for the outside range cases as well. So
that's a beautiful segue into the fact that we are on the edge of nuclear war right now.
Well, let's not jump quite into the deep end.
Well,
yet.
that's what I'm going to say. I don't want to
also say that's very arguable.
Well, what I want to do is backtrack back and to say, like, let's not bury the lead of this point in time that we're in right now. And I think we need to address the Ukraine war, that's happening.
Yes. Before we do that, I just want to do a quick check-in, like, because we are talking about sort of being on the outskirts of hopefully the pandemic, sort of transitioning back out to something not like the before times, but some sort of a new semi-normalcy. Yeah. But like, how's everybody doing? Like pandemic check-in, like, do you feel ready to be in public places without masks with people, or have?
No. I don't believe that we're anywhere near the end of this thing. Like, in fact, I don't think it's ever going to end in our lives. Not the way it's being handled. I think it's going to be there for the rest of our lives, and the sooner that people kind of figure that out, the better. But like one of the main problems that I have with all of it is that it very much feels like the majority of people, and very specifically the majority of people that have any say in the way things are handled, people in charge, if you will, seem to want to pretend that it's not real. and that it's not a big deal, and it is, and it's and we should have changed way more things, and we didn't really change that much of anything significant at all, and it's really bothers me, and I find it really problematic, and I think that, like, I mean, okay, so we all live in Washington State, you two in Seattle, but like, the governor
Maybe.
here, well, the governor here, Jay Inslee, is who I absolutely think is one of the better governors in the country, and actually, Washington State government may be the best state government in the United States of America. But that being said, like, that the mask mandate is being lifted on the 21st of this month, and that and already I'm seeing people like not just not doing it, like,
Yeah.
and with
That's
no
been happening
repercussions.
for a
Like,
while
yeah,
anyway.
but
Oh,
it's ramped up. It's ramped up in the last like week or two, where it's like instead of before it was like one or two people in like the grocery store, now it's like
Well, sure, because
a
as soon as you
third.
say we're going to do this in 2 weeks, most
The
people,
people start
and I
doing
don't
it
even
now.
think
Yeah,
I don't even think it's unreasonable to say, well,
I don't either.
if it's going
I'm
to
not
be okay in
upset
2
with
weeks, what's the
them
difference between then and
necessarily.
now? You know,
I still look at him sideways a little bit, like, but like it's more like the fact that like these people huffed and puffed and like made us think about it and then got their way, and it just bothers me so much because like
Yeah.
there's no good reason for it. Like,
well, I think that's a reductive take on it. I don't know that they got there. I mean, was a good stretch where things were real bad, where they weren't getting their way and they were not being admitted.
things
to
are still
places
real
and-
bad. Like they're pretty bad. Like, Omicron isn't real deadly, but the hospitals are still full up with people, and I know people that work in hospitals, and
Yeah.
that like it's not a picnic over there. Like, it looks not that bad from where we are because we don't have it, and because the people that are in charge, the media and all the politicians, are painting a picture as though it's not that bad because, hey, get back to work.
Well,
This is America. You got to work.
Hold on.
Like, and but it is that bad. It's very bad, and it is. It's. I mean,
Well,
right
what's the
now.
alternative at this point?
I mean, okay, like, I mean, it's radical, but the alternative is actually taking it seriously and like being like, hey, look.
What
like,
does that
look,
mean?
Look what that means. Like, rethinking the way we do everything. Like, maybe, like,
What does that
instead
mean?
of everyone having to go, well, instead of forcing everyone to leave their house and go to work at jobs that aren't important, we just don't do that anymore. Like, like, I mean, look what happened. Okay, like when this
Well,
first hit,
I want some more clarity here. Like, what jobs are not important? What
every job in the finance sector is not important. Like, they're not important. They're not impactful in any real way. Like, it's just moving money around, and money's imaginary. Like,
you could argue the financial system is stupid and broken, but if those people all stop moving the money around right now, there'd be real problems because of the way
there's
it's
all
all
sorts
set.
Everything
of
would shut
real
down.
problems.
Everything would shut down.
I'm aware of this. Like, look, I don't have the like ground up like answer to this. Like, but what I am saying is, like, from a pragmatic standpoint of view, like when the pandemic first hit in like March 2020, or when it was taken seriously in this country, everything did shut down. Everyone was scared, and everything really shut down for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And in that
Still
time,
wasn't everything.
no, it wasn't everything, but it was a considerable, okay, stop. Everyone stay inside, like, chill out for a minute. And what happened? Like, well, the sky in Los Angeles cleared up and the turtles started nesting again. And like the earth started to heal in a very short amount of time. So all we really need to do as a species is chill
Stop.
the fuck out
Yeah.
and relax. And
Sure.
instead of having everyone running around frantic pace, productivity, gotta get it done.
Drive, fly.
Drive. Yeah, go. If we just chilled the fuck out,
So
like,
what I'm
things would
hearing
be fine.
here is the real problem is
It's
capitalism.
capitalism. Yeah, it really is.
The theme of
Capitalism
content obscura is
I
this
do hate it.
capitalism.
I do hate it.
Yeah. So I want to
And
interject.
the thing is, you're not wrong. But
No, yeah.
the pragmatic answer also is we have this giant system that
Yeah.
sucks, but without
You gotta do it.
It needs to be reworked if you're
It
going to
needs to
stop
be
doing
reworked,
it.
but you
Yeah.
can't
It needed
just
to be
shut
reworked
it
a
down.
long time ago, and they haven't.
But that
done
doesn't
it.
matter,
They just
because
keep
a long
putting
time ago already
Band-Aids on it.
Yeah, we got to talk about
They
what
just
to
keep
do.
smacking.
Well, and they probably will until it grinds to a halt.
Yeah.
Which is what's going to
So,
happen.
Wylie, what you're saying is that you think we need to do another lockdown, and a longer one, a more sustained one, until the actual virus stops moving, and until maybe we see.
I also think
maybe let me finish. Until we see the long-term effects of that lockdown and what it could have on society in a positive way that maybe makes us actually focus on the idea of reworking our systems, capitalism, reworking how we look at work, reworking how we look at agriculture, and start looking at the world as something that we can actually prepare if we concentrate on what to do around that, and that those lockdowns show us that it's possible, that we are able to continue functioning as a society with only about 20% of us continuing to work outside of our homes, and that doing that is maybe good for us.
I don't know if I would go that far for like a full-on lockdown, but what
why
I would
not?
say. Well, because it's not necessary. But what I would say is it's like
if
it's
you
it's
don't.
okay to,
I mean,
be outside
the only reason to shut things down in terms of COVID would be to burn it out, to keep it from transmitting.
And if you're going to do that, you might as well lock all the doors and windows, right?
I would be actually okay with that if we actually did that.
And in order to do that, you would have to basically shut down society for like a month.
4 to 6 weeks.
Fine with me.
Do it. But how do goods and services get to people? Like, how we don't have replicators in our houses. There's not like.
It's true.
No,
I mean, that's
you have to give a portion of the work.
You don't get nacho cheese sauce and chili coming out of the faucet. There's no.
The reality is that you have to keep grocery stores and medical services and all these things operating.
Yeah, there's lots of things that are
you have
necessary.
to pay those people like they're fucking doctors and lawyers instead of
But also,
instead of slave wages that aren't even enough to get by, and that's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
But if you have a critical mass of of workers that have to keep working, that is going to be a transmission vector.
Yeah, it is
very likely.
And I mean, there's like I said, I don't have the I think
the problem is that there just isn't. There is no.
What I do know is what is being done is not helping.
You don't feel good. You don't feel like we're.
No, I don't feel confident that the proper steps have been taken. Like what Biden's done with getting the vaccine out is a lot better than what Trump was doing, but it's still not enough. It's like he's still half-assed.
That's like saying I like my shit mixed with peanut butter. Yeah,
the argument for lockdowns and that kind of thing, it was never to stop COVID. Yeah. It was to slow it down so we don't overwhelm medical infrastructure, particularly until a vaccine is developed. We now have a vaccine,
So here's
if people won't get vaccinated, that's people at this point, and we've talked about this before, and I don't want to engage in a bunch of schadenfreude, but I will just point out people who are dying by let's say 95% of them, if you're dying of COVID at this point, it's because you're refusing to get vaccinated.
Or because it's probably more than that. The people
mostly because you're.
Well, I mean,
probably
I'm just
95.
I'm allowing space.
I don't think 5%
of
the people that are dying are vaccinated people.
I'm allowing, yes, but some percentage of those people are people who can't get vaccinated because they have pre-existing medical conditions that it would be a complication for, and then they get COVID, and that's
I have friends who have had organ transplants in the last few years, and this has been a really fucking horrible few years.
Yeah. Or if you're doing chemo, or there's a lot of legitimate reasons why people may not be vaccinated, other than just that they're dipshits who are worried about Alex Jones and gay frogs.
Well, we're all worried about frogs that are telling us about their sexuality. Once they start having an opinion about it and voicing it, I get a little concerned general about the animal kingdom.
I find that conversation riveting.
I support them. I'm happy for them. I just don't want to hear them vocalize anything in like a language that I can understand.
I just don't want to see it.
It's a little too much of a leap for you.
Yeah. Just keep it I don't have a problem with the gays. I just don't want to see it.
But the frogs can do whatever they want. It's that I want the frogs to use separate bathrooms still. That's what's important to me.
By the way, I fucked my wife and made a kid.
I don't care if two dude frogs are together. Just don't call it marriage.
It's one of my favorite episodes of television all time.
Never had a problem with it till they told me I was an asshole about it.
The episode of Parks and Rec where Leslie married the two penguins without realizing
That was the first episode, wasn't it?
It was it was the first season.
I think it was the very first episode.
The pilot?
It was super early. It was one of the first couple for sure. But yeah, two penguins got married and she didn't realize she had married two male penguins. And then the whole town was divided.
Christian Wright got one crazy.
Yeah. And she became a gay celebrity and everyone brought her out to the nightclub. Yeah. It was a good episode. Classic.
No, I as far as the pandemic goes.
Yeah. Where are you at, Ian? Are we done yet?
You know,
we're clearly done trying.
Well, I mean,
you've said your piece.
You've said your piece, and I think that is honestly, you know, no offense, but kind of an unnuanced take, because the reality is there is no easy solution. Like, the only way to just make COVID completely go away is to just shut society, all of society, down for a month at least.
Even if we can, obviously we're not gonna.
And yeah, even if the political will exists to do that, which there's not even the political will to agree on who won the last presidential election, you know,
whether or not war is good.
Yeah. Whether
dictator's bad, good.
Vladimir Putin is a bad guy or not, or, you know, but aside from that,
that seems pretty blanket and uniform.
Whether or not some of the Nazis are good people.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's clearly not going to be a consensus on this. Above and beyond that, I mean, the economic impacts that would be very real of just shutting the global economy down for a month. You know, if you shut an engine down, can you even get it started back up necessarily? I mean,
yes, you can.
You can, but what?
Sometimes.
My question would be, and I'm not an economist, and I don't really have a macroeconomic particular axe to grind, but I bet it would be an interesting comparison to look at the human cost of shutting the global economy down for a month versus the
that's
how many people are actually gonna, you know, die from COVID in that period of time.
And maybe it's just like, you know, I'm being a little overly dramatic too, just because of like my already predetermined like hatred of capitalism. Like it's just like so, you know, I mean that's the other end of it. Is
I'm pretty sure you have guillotine tattooed between your shoulder blades. So listen, I'm gonna throw my bit on this. Because I agree with both.
It was the best.
Some people use Arm and Hammer deodorant. Wylie uses Hammer and Sickle.
Yeah. So I agree with both of you to some degree.
Yeah.
I do. Where I see Wylie's point of view that look, we're not fucking done. Like obviously, the numbers have come way back down to the point where they were all of last year while we were still in a pandemic. So like it's not like it's gone back down to nothing. We're not down to a handful of people a week. We're still seeing hundreds of people every day testing positive with COVID in every county around our state, at least. Yeah. So, and from what I understand, our state is in better shape than a lot of highly populated states. That said, I see Ian's point too. Like, I'm one who does believe that there's a really easy, sensible way to shut everything down for 6 weeks, and there always has been, and we just haven't done it, which is to go into national debt in order to hand everyone money for enough time to stay home and not do anything. You know, obviously some people do have to still work, and that's going to happen.
That's the thing.
But you have to minimize it. It's not, because you have to minimize it to the degree that you can, as far down as you can, and then everyone else has to be given those heavy stipends on top of their regular work pay. It has to be rewarded. They have to be.
Those people that are doing the work,
I would support that 1,000%.
Need to be paid gargantuanely well.
The point is,
they need to come out of it small.
And there need to be massive safety protocols in place for those
massive safety. Yeah, and the problem is with our country, it's the same as with everything else. It's not that anything is impossible. It's that we're not going to agree with each other enough to actually get it the fuck done.
Right.
There needs to be a consensus to a degree. Like anything else, we talk about, if you want to snuff out the pandemic, you got to close all the doors, all the windows. That doesn't mean no one can go to work. It means you have to take care of every T and I. You have to cross and dot them all. Mm-hmm. That means safety procedures for everyone. Everyone's paid. Everyone's taken care of. Healthcare is there. Like you have to have everything in place and everything working in order to do that.
Like, I mean,
there's no way we can do that at this point. That said, because there's no way we can do what actually would need to have been done, we could have saved 500,000 lives. We didn't do that. Yeah. We're not there now. We are at a point where 80% of the country is vaccinated or nearly. And it's at a point now where they've had a year and a half. And if the numbers are truly showing that if you've been vaccinated and boosted and your kids have been vaccinated and boosted, we get to a point where everyone, infant and up who's able to be vaccinated can be and has had time to be at some point, then you have to say, yeah, it's still going, but it's still going because of choice. And most of us who are going to get this it's going to suck, but we got to get back to work. We'll live through it, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know that I'm there. I still think COVID can be a very dangerous thing, even for healthy vaccinated people.
I do too.
But I do also understand that after 2 years, even great progressive, liberal, thoughtful people who were ready to lock down and do whatever it took for 6 months, we tried to fucking bend the curve 2.5 years ago or whatever the fuck that was. Now those people are at a point where they're saying, I'm going to a fucking movie. I took my vaccines. I took my booster. I had my kid out of school for a year.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to dinner. And if you want to come to dinner not vaccinated and die of COVID, do it. And I'm not saying I think that's the best way to go. I'm still barely going anywhere all the time.
No, it's true. People are sick of it. Like they're sick.
People are
I'm
fucking sick of it. And there's a reason people are sick of it that's actually legitimate at this point. People were sick of it 3 months in.
Yeah.
But they were shitty about it. Now, 2 years later, after we, like you said, Ian, the point of the lockdown was to hold it at bay and keep the healthcare,
hold the line until we had a vaccine.
Hold the line until we had a vaccine. We got the vaccine. The vaccine is effective. We took the vaccine. The vaccine's proven to be effective since. Mm-hmm. And the fact that people are still saying that they're not going to take a vaccine that 2 years later is safe and effective. There's a clear inverse statistical relationship in terms of
people who don't get vaccinated are the ones who are dying.
So at that point, I'll tell you what, I got concert tickets for March 16th and 18th, I think, or something like 14th and 18th. I'm going to 2 concerts next week, and it's be the first time I've seen live music since New Year's Eve 2019.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wear a mask, and it'll be right after some of the mask mandates for the restaurants and bars have lifted, and I think some of the places that I'm going to might still have them in place. I don't know, but I'm gonna bring my vaccine card. I'm gonna mask up because I don't fucking like the flu. I don't like getting a cold. I'm happy to still wear a mask for a little while, especially during any colder seasons where I'm gonna be inside a lot.
Well, and that's such an interesting thing too, and an argument that I've had with people who are like, "Oh, masks don't work," blah blah, I haven't really got
James Cagney, the anti-vax.
Bring a mask, see? I haven't really gotten sick in
right.
I mean, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, I've had a couple little colds.
The entire time.
The entire time.
Yeah, I've never been.
And we were around children.
Yeah. Yeah.
little germ bags that pick their nose and
I've been working off and on site in a giant facility around other people. Fucking masks work.
Yeah, they work.
Yeah.
They work, and they've been proven to work. And my kid, that's the thing. And at schools, here's the thing that I don't hear enough people saying with nuance, because they're saying, well, why are we taking masks off at schools? And I tend to kind of agree with some of that, but they were still seeing a lot of people saying we shouldn't be doing in-person school. And I was one of them, really for a long time. I put my kid back in school at the beginning of the fall, but I felt weird about it the whole time, and, but I've been watching, and there have been cases at the schools, but where we are in our district, the cases they're seeing aren't transmitting at the schools. People are getting sick at home. They're coming to school. They're getting testing positive, and then they're being sent home, but it's not getting sent around. Whole classes aren't getting sick.
Right.
That's not happening because masks work, and the kids are doing
and hand washing
and masks are being heavily enforced at schools, and that works. So the kids
and they're keeping the classroom density a lot lower.
A little more spacing and stuff like that. They're doing the things they need to there, and there are cases at the schools, but it's not because they're in person at school. It's because at home their dad is an asshole.
Yeah.
That doesn't wear a mask, or flip side of that, their parents are wonderful fucking people who have had to go to work and happen to catch COVID.
And it's just dumb fucking luck too.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to say everyone who gets sick is a jerk,
that is the thing about it is it's an airborne disease, and you'll get it. I mean, I know I think 13 people that are vaxxed that have gotten it. But
and a lot of them got
but it was super mild, and they got over it right away. And it was like
a shitty flu or less.
And it was they said, it sucked, but I'm fine now. For most of them, and but I mean,
some of them still can't taste anything. But hey, it's probably
and that's the part that scares me is the long term effects.
Neurological damage.
No one really knows what there are. Yeah, it's I've heard so many horror stories. But
I still wonder about I have no family history of any sort of like blood clotting problems or anything like that.
And then all of a sudden,
I'm not genetically predisposed to it because I had a whole panel of like, work done when that happened. But I got over the course of like from right when COVID started, I got one, a DVT, like, or the scary kind, that can kill you, in my leg. And then I got another one like 6-8 months later. And now I'm basically having to take blood thinners for the rest of my life. But it had never happened to me before. I had no family history of it. There's no genetic predisposition to it. Kind of sure I got some sort of a weird, like,
thing from the vaccine.
Asymptomatic strain of COVID that, like,
no, not from the vaccine, but
No, not from the, this is well before I got vaccinated.
Okay.
Yeah. So in February, the end of February of 2020, me, my wife, and my kid all got very sick. Bad cough, the whole thing. And, we weren't looking for specific COVID symptoms at the point because they weren't out yet. It was right when like the first case in Washington was reported. And then it came out later that it had probably been here for months. And we were all kind of like, we probably, our kid is in preschool. All the kids were sick all the time. We probably all had COVID right when it got here.
Yeah.
And maybe not. Maybe we got a bad flu right at the same time as it hit.
I mean, that's another aspect of it.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah,
that other aspect of like, like there are other airborne transmissible diseases.
Oh, yeah.
and like every time I have like a sore throat or like a cough,
sure.
It's like, is this it? Is this?
Oh yeah, no, the COVID paranoia.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I'm terrified. Yeah, I was like.
We've had a couple colds because we do have a kid, and it's definitely when the cold hits, we've taken a bunch of tests. I've had a lot of tests taken at home, and
I've taken several. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
passed them all with flying colors.
Yeah, me too. I've still haven't tested positive for COVID, but I mean, here's my thing: is I don't know. I don't think the pandemic's over. I'm not with Wylie so much as like, I think COVID might be here forever. I don't think it's going to be part of our lives forever any more than colds and flus are a part of our lives. I do think that the virus will probably continue to mutate into a less violent.
It'll turn into a flu.
It'll turn into a flu eventually. And probably a less deadly one, even for unvaccinated people. Eventually.
I'd kind of be fine with that. Like, I mean, if that's the case, and that I do. Great.
Yeah, I hope you are.
I mean, that seems to be sort of the trajectory for viral
for
mutations over time. They either burn themselves out by being too dangerous to the host, or they mutate for being relatively benign, and then they can replicate all they want.
To survive, they have to stop killing hosts.
Yeah, and that's a fair deal.
Fair deal.
Real good.
Wish
deal.
they had done it a little quicker.
I'll take some of that COVID.
I'll get a COVID cough 3 years from now.
It's a fair exchange.
You know what, Pat? I'd like to solve.
Yeah. Take COVID for $1,000.
Fair work for fair wages.
So I guess I'm saying, like, no, I don't think. I do think it's endemic.
A vaccine in every pot.
I do think that's right. I also think we're probably going to see more mutations and more spikes in the next year.
Yeah. That's my big concern, and
yeah,
but also I know that the psychological impact, people sort of talk about it and they sort of joke about it, but it's real. Like
it's super real.
I have always been a little agoraphobic, but it's gotten way worse. Like, I do not like being in close proximity to a bunch of other people these days.
It's hard. It's going to take a lot of getting used to get back to where we felt before.
Yeah. Like Jamie and I went to Costco recently because we needed it's like a once every 6 months you stock up on Costco shit,
Yeah.
And it's like
a giant case of baby powder.
I mean, everybody sort of jokes.
Mayonnaise the size of yourself.
Right.
Exactly.
Enough Ben Gay for the year.
Just 50-gallon oil drums of mayonnaise.
Running out of special sauce, Frank. Put the mayonnaise back out in the sun for a while. Anyone remember that?
But like,
early Simpsons.
Everybody sort of jokes about like the Sunday Costco trip with the Xanax or whatever, and like that was always real. But now, like, I had to cut our trip short because I felt like I was starting to have a panic attack because like there was just a lot of people in there, and every third person has got like their mask under their
Mask,
chin,
yeah,
or the
yeah.
nose is hanging out.
Yeah,
and
that
it's
one.
just like,
That one's a fun one.
And
I
it
just
really
started
is at this point, like every third mouth breathing asshole has the thing over their forehead or something. Yeah, it's. And that is the thing. Hey, if you're listening out there and you think the pandemic's kind of stupid and you're done with masks, we hear you. But if just don't wear it at all. And I'm not saying like that's what I prefer. I'm saying when you have the thing and you're
at
holding
least
it in
we'll
your
know
hand, or
who to avoid.
yeah, if it's over your chin, and not really, and you're just kind of half wear it and not really cover your nose or your mouth entirely with it, just fucking stop. You look like a dipshit. You just look like you don't look like you're trying to make a point. You look like you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a really easy thing to do.
You
so
look
I say
like
just
you probably have shit your pants.
Yeah, like do it with some intention by just not having a masks there, because you're kind of walking around like you have something to say, but you're too afraid to say it.
Right.
Just say what you're going to say. Be who you're going to be. I don't
Say
agree
what
with
I
you.
said.
I don't think you're a good person, but
Right.
I'd rather. But yeah, just at least
I would
know
at least have some degree of regard for your
Right.
integrity.
I might, at least at this point, I might not stop you and ask you if you're having a stroke.
Right.
Because you look like you're doing something utterly foolish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Well, Wylie wasn't going to co-sign that one.
I guess not. We'll wait for her to come back. Like halfway through the movie, I was like, maybe you could have edited that out.
Hooray!
But by the end of it, it came back, and it came around to be stuff that I think mattered to the plot.
Well, the thing is,
it was just a very heavy, convoluted plot. It's a mystery movie. It's like, if you're into this sort of thing, the movie is heavily influenced by stuff like Seven and Zodiac and Chinatown. Like, it's a detective story about a serial killer.
It's Gotham.
Yeah, like the Riddler is portrayed as a serial killer, and it's
I love it.
And
I love
Gotham
it.
is
That sounds
dark.
great to me.
Gotham is a dark, sad place that's corrupt and filled with nothing.
That's how it should be. I feel like that's how it should be.
That's the thing with me, is that at this
I
point,
don't know,
I've seen and read so many iterations of Batman.
Yeah, there's all
whenever
sorts of
someone's
different
like,
things.
"This is the Batman. This is how Batman should be done," and that's how everyone feels about this one, I think, to some degree. And I'm just like, you can do it all the different ways. It's like,
I want to see a reboot of,
because I liked Adam West.
I want a reboot of '60s Batman. I want Batman with like a giant round bomb over.
They did that with like what's
Joel
his name?
Schumacher's
They
Batman
did that. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They did that. It was terrible.
Well, it feels terrible.
With Val Kilmer as Batman.
Go watch
it was awful.
And while things about them are kind of terrible, that's because everyone was wanting more seriously taken.
They wanted Tim Burton Batman.
Well, they wanted a darker Batman that was a little bit more stoic still, and they got this kind of cartoony one. But yeah, I think that there's some stuff now, if you watch Batman Forever again, particularly, that feels a little bit like Batman 66 in a way of just kind of
but it's totally all over the place. Like,
it really
it's
is,
also trying to be.
It's a very bad movie.
It's
not
good.
We're talking about two movies. Batman and Robin was very bad. Batman Forever had some things that could have gone a little bit differently and would have been great. Would have been. But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bat Nipples, Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, it was all
a mess. Yeah.
It's all funny. Yeah, looking back, it's
none of that was good. But Tommy Lee Jones just chewing up scenery as Two-Face, just hamming as hard as anyone had ever hammed. And
Even
maybe hating every second of it while he's doing it. There's something about that I kind of like enjoy in like a John Waters-y way. Like watching these actors sort of eat shit,
it's weirdly transgressive.
Yeah, there's something there. Watching Jim Carrey go over the top at Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones have to try to match Jim Carrey's
trying to hit that tone, and it's just not,
and it's just painful for him. And he's just like, I fucking hate everything about doing. Like, there are rumors that he almost walked off the set several times because of who Jim Carrey is. He just wouldn't. They're not the same actor, at least in that movie at that point.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. No, I think if I remember right, I think Tommy Lee Jones to this day hates Jim Carrey and bristles in his presence.
I really can't stand that man. Now I'm trying to think about it. I really can't stand him.
I'm illegal to set up a perimeter around Jim Carrey's house. My only Tommy Lee Jones is Chasing a Fugitive. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
That's the only Tommy Lee Jones I really want most of the time.
I like though.
Tommy, I didn't mean to offend you. I
like
care.
helping Josh Brolin and Josh Brolin's young wife out. I like that Tommy Lee Jones. the sage wisdom of the just before retired Texas sheriff.
Yeah. Anyway, new Batman movie.
Y'all remember Ed? He worked down at the slaughterhouse. You know Ed. Like that Tommy Lee Jones.
That's pretty good, Wylie. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's got a real specific accent too. That's pretty good.
Well, I'm not. Is he from Texas?
I think he's from Arkansas.
I was gonna say that. I think that
Tennessee or something.
Further east.
Wouldn't he like? Well, I guess that was college, so that wouldn't really matter. But he was college roommates with Al Gore.
Huh.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So maybe Tommy Lee Jones.
He actually invented the internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Al Gore stole the internet from Tommy Lee Jones.
Al Gore copied his
Became
homework.
vice president.
Well, Tommy Lee Jones is the one who was, hell, why don't you just plug it into the phone jack?
It's like Tommy Lee Jones is like, well, shoot. And then he called up like Pete Best.
Why don't we just duct tape 5 or 6 of these computers together?
Pete Best was like, I was been waiting for the call. I was expecting this.
You should, Wylie. I think you would like the new Batman movie.
I think I would too. I mean, I like Robert Pattinson, so like it's like, and I like Batman movies. Honestly, you know, I'm not. I don't have much of an affinity. Well, I mean, I didn't like those ones in the 90s, but I did love that. I mean, I do have a special affinity for like Adam West himself. Did I ever tell you too about like like my experience with Adam West when he came to Olympia, like and did like a live thing? And I don't even know what he did. I ended up
I'm trying to decide how I should answer this.
Okay, so I'm going to tell it anyway because it's an interesting story. And
Doesn't
so, like,
matter.
Yeah.
like Adam West, there was this club in Olympia in the early mid-aughts called the Go Club, and it used to be like it was in this spot where it's Jake's now, and it was.
Did you ever went there?
I had gone there a couple times, but they had a stint when it was being ran by a specific person. Audrey is her name, and she was getting all these like C-list celebrities to come and do, I don't know, stand up or just kind of VH1 storytell. I never actually made it to one of these shows, but they got Dustin Diamond and they got Adam West and they got like no, it was amazing the level of like low caliber celebrity that they got to come play Olympia and just hang out in this place.
I don't appreciate how you're talking about Adam West's celebrity at all, right?
I'm sorry.
That man has a star on the Walk of Fame.
Yes, he does. But like, I mean, I'm just saying. So like, I'm not disparaging Adam West. Like,
he's no Dustin Diamond.
He was solidly B-list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. So here's the thing: is like right when this was happening, I had just gotten this PlayStation 1 game called Golden Nugget Casino, and so like in this it's a PS1 game, and so like there were 2 modes.
Holy Shaggy Dog Story, Batman.
There were 2 modes to this game, and one mode was like casino mode, where you just went into the casino and you played slots or craps or whatever on PS1 version of it, and then the other one was adventure mode, where there was a story and like a murder that needed to be solved, and the way you solved it was by playing games in the casino. And so like, but because it was PS1, it was like the first like iteration with like the compact disc DVD. So they had like little miniature movies, cutscenes that were real live shot. And the star of this game was Adam West, and he was the star, and he was the host of like the game. And so when I'd heard Adam West was coming to Olympia, I had made plans to go, and I was going to bring him my copy of Golden Nugget Casino on PlayStation 1 to have him sign that, because I knew that like he would love that. He would be like, "Oh, I remember doing this. This was great work.
You brought me Golden Nugget, like, young quester.
I got kids like Adam West. I got Golden Nugget Casino. You must remember this." It's like, "Oh, I remember the times," you know? Like, and I ended up having to work or something stupid. I couldn't go and I didn't get it done. But like, I just loved that. That was, you know, for a minute, that was a possibility that I was going to get a signed
So
copy.
wait, you didn't
of
actually
Golden
have
Nugget
any
Casino.
interaction with Adam West whatsoever.
I never interacted
So your
with
story
Adam
was
West.
about a time when you almost did a thing.
That's exactly correct. That is. And you know what? I think it holds up. I think it's a solid story.
Listeners, go ahead and call in. Hit 9 if you think that was a solid story. Hit 7 if you don't. We're going to put the results up on the screen at the end of the show.
Yeah, let's get a poll going. Yeah. Thumbs up if you like the story, angry face if you didn't. Heart if you just think I'm kind of cool.
People were just going to send in pictures of
Oh,
themselves.
like heart react. Yeah. The react panel.
It's a scary time to be alive in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously there's a pandemic, political unrest, the environment, nukes, all this stuff. And I think the levity that I can get from it is to sit around and be like, all right, so are we all thinking about this? Well, no, just are we all thinking about this? Is this on your mind too? And
I think
stuff
also
helps for me.
It's always been a scary time to be alive. I don't think there's ever been a point in human history where it wasn't terrifying to be alive.
Times are interesting.
Yeah. That's the nature of them.
Of times.
Yeah. Our parents lived through them, their parents lived through them, and their parents lived through them. Yeah. This is hopefully ours. You know? And the thing is, while we didn't, I say we, I mean, sort of humanity writ large, like if you go back to the World War II parallels, the general populace of the world didn't really know about, like, nukes weren't a thing until the end of the war. That was the big race was to get that figured out. And then they did. And then one of the deciding factors for the war ending. But there was still the sense that, like, everyone was in peril. I mean, if you're talking about, like, fascism trying to take over the world, like, that is an existential threat for everybody.
Right.
And there's a part of me that's a little bit like, you can't let maniacal dictators do whatever the fuck they want and kill people indiscriminately just because you're afraid of a possible consequence.
Right. But also
because they'll do it every time then,
Yeah. As soon as they have a bomb they can drop, a bad person will use that and exploit the situation to gain power.
And then you're basically, you're negotiating with terrorists,
in every literal way.
Yeah.
But I don't know how the world gets out from under the nuclear arms race outside of nuclear defense catching up with it, I guess. But right now, here we are. I guess you spend 15 minutes kissing your loved ones.
Yeah.
I think and the thing is,
cooking up some ramen.
I probably wouldn't use that last time on ramen. I hate you. That made me hate you a little. The idea of even the thought of, like, well, I guess I'm gonna ironically make a comedic meal. like, oh, that makes me so mad. Don't do that with your last.
I'm going out with a full belly and an empty heart,
and like a bad dumb joke that no one's here for. Like, no one's gonna get your ramen bit. Don't do that.
I get it. Gotta make your own fun in this business.
Yeah.
Do something sincere, Wylie. You got 15 minutes.
What's the
Don't
point,
make an
Henry?
ironic meal. Because
Why start now?
Irony is for when there's time left.
God damn it, get serious on this comedy podcast.
Oh, man.
I don't know why the idea.
When are you gonna straighten up and fly white, Van Wanger?
The idea of someone making, like, a beautiful sandwich with their last 15 minutes and, like, taking one bite of it and then just sitting down. Like, there's something poetic
It's
about
like
the
just
idea of
their
doing it with
skin
ramen.
flying off.
Yeah.
There's nothing left but a skeleton holding a chain link fence, like in Terminator.
But with, like, lettuce and pastrami flying by.
It's like
Their skin pulls away and you see inside of their mouth a bite of sandwich. The last remaining thing that was kept intact by their teeth.
Oh my God.
Nuclear winter.
On that cheerful note.
Gung, 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 gung. Gung, 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 gung.
yeah.
Well, it all comes back around though. Do you remember at the end of T2 when you see his hand going into the lava and he just gives
the thumbs up. I actually just watched T2 like 3 days ago.
It's a great movie. Holds up.
That's
Parts
arguable.
Yeah, parts of it hold
up.
up.
Yeah. It's very arguable. I mean, I actually liked every single one of the Terminator movies.
I haven't seen anything past T2.
People
I know
hated
there's a couple
on
good
3, but I thought 3 was fantastic.
Was that the immediate timeline or the immediate follow up to T2, like the third movie that came out?
It's the third movie that came out.
I know there's like a Genesis.
There were a couple of them.
Genesis is like the latest or the second latest one. There was
I just don't
bunch.
remember the order they came out in, and I know that
3 was the third one. It was after
timeline.
T2, but it wasn't immediately after. It was in the early
Years
aughts, I think. Yeah. And essentially, what happens in that one is like because of their actions in Terminator
Christian
2.
Bale?
No, it was I forgot the guy's name. I recognize him and the girl that like were the two main protagonists. The guy that played John Connor, and it's John Connor as an adult.
Okay.
And like his 20s, and he's basically like a loser and like a pill popping junkie and like homeless and stuff and like and
that sounds right. I've seen Edward Furlong around.
Yeah. Anyway, and so but basically what happens is because of their actions in T2, like the date of like August 14th, 1997 didn't happen, and like he's like, well, shit, we stopped it. Like, fuck, now what do I do? I've been trained my whole life to be this like warrior, like, and now it's just not happening. And so fuck, and might as well drink, it's like, and that's basically
it's like that
what
guy
it was.
prepping for the end of the world, and then the end of the world.
Well, and so what happens is like and they send another one, obviously, but like basically what happens is it's the same premise as T2. They send a new Terminator, but this time it's a girl Terminator, and it's like
That's
kind
new.
of a hybrid of between the T101 and the T1000. So like it's the liquid metal kind of sort of, but it's also got a solid metal chassis, and like it's upgraded.
Yeah, it's
upgraded for sure. And the thing is that's super cool about it is what you get to see, and this is a spoiler. So Terminator spoilers. If you haven't seen Terminator 3,
from the early aughts,
you get to see Skynet go online. You get to see that actually happen in the movie, and like the very first like really clunky like HKs and stuff like come out and like in the Pentagon, and like
the beginning of the
just
takeover.
Wasting everybody in the Pentagon like that, and like just like, oh fuck, this is it, and you get to see Judgment Day happen. That's like cool. And it's real fucking cool. Not only that, but the Terminator fights in that one are the best in any of the movies. Like it's like the way that like Arnold Schwarzenegger going up against this girl, like both of them expressionless and like smashing toilets over each other's head and crashing them through concrete walls, and like beating them to death with a steam shovel. Like it's great.
Wylie, you just watched T2.
It's fantastic.
Am I remembering the line correctly where where Schwarzenegger is on the phone with young John Connor's step parents or adoptive parents or whatever. Parents.
Step parents,
and he says, "How's Wolfie?" Is that what he asks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a T-shirt like Ian's T-shirt with the kind of silhouette screen print, but I want it to be Schwarzenegger on a payphone saying, "How's Wolfie?" I think that'd be a cool shirt. That's all. I want that shirt.
That's pretty sweet.
Remind me of that. I'm gonna try and put that together and get it made.
Your foster parents are dead.
I'm sure there's an internet for that.
Yeah, no, I watched T2 again. So like basically one of my new roommates has never seen any of the Terminators, and so I was like, I was like, okay, well we're gonna watch these then. And like we watched the first one, and then we followed it up with the second one like a week later, and that's how far we got.
Mila and I love the first two both individually, and we never watched the other ones.
3 is great. It got panned, and I think people didn't like it because James Cameron didn't direct it, but like I don't know, I see that as a plus. Like, and so like I don't know, like I'm no big Cameron fan. Like, I
think he's a fantastic movie maker, but it doesn't mean I like all his movies.
I think he's well past his prime. Anyway,
to the bottom of the ocean, Wylie. What else do you want from James Cameron?
that's the thing, though.
Ocean.
I don't know, a good story, decent writing, like
you.
that. Those things would be okay. Like, you know, yeah. Like,
I think
yeah,
he did an excellent
wow,
job
the man
picking up
can
the stories
spend
Ridley
money,
Scott
pretty
told.
fucking cool. Like, you know, give me $200 billion and see what kind of awesome movie I can make. You know, it's like probably not as good as James Cameron.
No,
but
you
like,
probably
still,
couldn't make as good a movie. As
no,
James
I
Cameron.
couldn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's you could use that same defense for Michael Bay, and
But
he
still,
sucks.
give me $200 billion.
Like, yeah, it's like, yeah,
also,
you
I
can
would
make
like
a real pretty piece of shit. Like, you know, like whatever. Like, anyway, I don't hate James Cameron. Like, yeah, it's just, but like, I don't especially love him, and like the fact that he didn't direct the third Terminator doesn't diminish that movie.
Where are we going with this?
I don't know. Like, I did see it too. Like, yeah,
Cameron.
I watched it. I don't apologize to James Cameron.
Nuclear war. That's how we got
There's
there.
no, yeah. I mean,
on the dance
if
floor.
James Cameron wants to hate me, James Cameron can hate me. I doubt James Cameron knows who I am.
I don't think he can hear you
don't
over
sell
the
yourself
sound
short.
of cha-ching.
Yeah, the sound of his own
Cash
money.
register.
Huh? What's that? Cha-ching.
His money is so loud.
I think Avatar 2 is coming out this year. Is that right?
He's still using the papyrus font.
Yeah, probably not. I have a feeling that they got enough of that. enough backlash on those papyrus choices.
I don't know.
Yeah, that movie was one of those things when
Didn't see
Avatar
the
came
movie.
out. Really?
Never saw it.
That's just shocking, just because of how many people saw it. Like, you're
Well,
statistically
I was
unlikely.
very aware. I was very aware that it was available on Blu Ray.
I saw Avatar
I knew that
3 times in the theater, and I'll tell
Avatar
you why.
now on Blu-ray.
I don't think
Yeah,
Avatar.
it's available on Blu Ray. I think it still is. You can still get Avatar on Blu Ray. I'm pretty sure. I didn't see the cup. The cup was fantastic.
I'm gonna wait till you're done talking about Avatar merchandise, and then just tell me and when you're finished.
I think I'm finished.
Just making sure. Just letting you get me out. I was just gonna say I saw Avatar 3 times in the theater, and not because I think it was a fantastic movie, but because it was the first movie I had seen in 3D that I found really impressive. It was the first time I went and saw a 3D movie in the theater and was like, holy shit, it feels like I'm flying through a jungle. And it impressed me like fucking hell in the theater. And then I remember seeing the movie on like a decent TV when it came out and being like, this is a horrible story with awful acting.
When you
looked beautiful though in 3D.
when you saw it on Blu-ray.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie.
Well, that's where you fucked up, because that was its intended format. It was like when what's
Ultra
his name
HD?
that did the Avengers. Like, that's why he did it in 4:3. Like, and he did it in honor.
You're talking about Zack Snyder. You're talking about the
Zack
Justice League
Snyder
movie, not the
because that was his intended format was a CRT TV. Yeah, like that's why I did it in 4:3.
I think you got your sister twisted.
He wanted to look good on a television with knobs. That's what he was
He did
about.
it in 4:3 because comic books are read vertically.
So on VHF.
He did it in 4:3 because in honor of Papa John claiming to have eaten 40 pizzas in 30 days.
That seems accurate. Snopes it, bro.
And with that,
Hope
you've had a delightful morning. I've been Ian.
I'm Wylie.
I'm sick to my stomach.
And also Kenny.
Yeah, that too. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.